So I'm making this video for anyone that has an MPC X or MPC XSE that may be coming from an older MPC, specifically the MPC 2000XL. And if it's your first time using an MPC X SE, it can be very overwhelming with the layout and the way the screen is and the way the operating system is. So I just wanted to show you a way that helped me make it click after a couple of days of using the MPC X and being able to associate the different features from the 2000XL to make it make sense for the MPC X SE. So I will start with the screen first. So I'm gonna open up a screen here. I'm gonna move this to the side. So in the 2000XL, you'll start to see at the top on the main screen the sequence label right here. This sequence label is the same as if you look at the MPC X SE right here, this one where it says sequence 1, that's exactly what this is here. And if you want to change the name of your sequence from sequence 01 to something else, all you have to do is tap and hold where it says sequence 01, and your keyboard option will pop up and you can change it to whatever your song title is or whatever you want to title that sequence. If you want to call it intro, you just type intro and then do it. Next, your transport clock here, I'll hit play. You see it's running here on the MPC 2000XL. If you look at the MPC X, that's right here. Okay, next is your timing or your timing correction or quantize feature right here in the MPC 2000XL. And the MPC X, you'll see that and find that right here where it says TC. Okay, next, if you look at the MPC 2000XL screen, you will see this is your BPM. If you look here on the MPC X SE, this is your BPM right here. Okay, next in the 2000XL screen, you'll see the bars counter is right here. If you look at the MPC X SE, the bars counter is right here. Your start and your end. You also have transpose. Next is your loop option for on or off. This is in the MPC 2000XL screen. It's right here. On the MPC X SE, you're going to see when it's highlighted in blue, it's on. When you tap it, it turns gray, and that means loop is off. This pencil icon is your sequence edit feature. As you can see, all the different options are here. Erase, clear, trim, transpose, delete bars, insert bars, half length, double length, copy sequence, copy bars, copy events. And you would just tap the tab down here to close it. Next, here on the MPC 2000XL screen is the track option. You see track 01 unused. That is right here in the MPC X SE. And this is basically showing that it's unused because you can tap here or tap here. This side's for browse. It'll take you to where you can browse your samples. And you can also tap record to start sampling onto that track specifically. And I'll take you to your sampler. What's new with the MPC X is they add an arrangement tab right beside the track tab. So you can now preview what you record right here in this arrangement window, in this part of the window here, which is really cool. And you can select your punch in and punch out markers. You can set your auto record off. You can turn your auto record on here at punch enabled. Also auto record at loop start enabled right here. If you tap on this pencil icon, it'll open up your arrangement edit options here. Clear, double length with events, half speed, double speed, pitch quantize, humanize, random events, split events, convert to progression, bounce to sample, bounce to audio track. While you're on your drum track, you can hold it down and it'll pop up and give you options to change the color. You can do your MIDI send, MIDI routing. You can do your record arm here. And this is where you will change the name. Right here, you just tap on the keyboard and you can type in, let's say kick, for example, and do it. Now the name is changed from drum 001 to your kick. So in the MPC 2000XL, if you wanted to create a new track, all you had to do was go over to the data wheel here and turn it, and you'll see all the different unused tracks available for you to start recording on. However, with the MPC X or XSE, you'd have to go here in the bottom left corner of the screen and tap on New Track. And it gives you options of the type of tracks that you can create. You have an audio track, drum, plugin, key group, MIDI, or CV. Then you're able to choose whichever type of track you want to record. So currently we're on a drum track, so I'll just click close. Okay, so this tab here is the record arm tab. Right now it's on. If I tap it, it's off. So I'll turn it back on. What this does, it allows you to record your MIDI, and you'll be able to see all of the MIDI data recorded across the screen here for that particular track. Okay, so in the MPC 2000XL, you have your function keys here. If you wanted to mute the track that you're on, you would click on this function key here. That would equate to this mute tab right here on the MPC X. You can tap it and it will mute the track that you're currently on. Next would be the solo here. The function key here would trigger the track into solo mode. All you have to do on the MPC X is tap on the solo button here to solo your track. While you're in the MPC X, if you want to open the full arrangement window, all you have to do is double tap here into the arrangement box, and your arrangement window will pop up here. If you look at the top left, you tap on arrange, that'll be your arrange window. You'll be able to see all of the MIDI data just like a regular DAW going across from left to right. You also have your grid view, which is basically a piano roll or similar to what a piano roll would be in a DAW, and you'll see all of your MIDI data here. That's where you'll be able to write in or tap in different notes, or you can erase them with the eraser tab here, or you can select with like a marquee tool here. You can select whichever MIDI events that you want to select to apply any sort of feature down here to it. And this is your pointer or magnifying glass here that you'll be able to, you can always zoom here as well. And the X, we have the Q links, so you're able to zoom instead of using your fingers on the touchscreen, which you can do as well. You can also zoom with the Q links like this. If you take a look along the left side here of the window, you'll see different app options. At the top here is going to be basically your utility menu. This is going to take you to all of the different menu options that are inside this device, the MPC X SE. If the icons on the left side of your screen look different from mine, it's only because I customized the different features or options that I wanted to go to quickly. So you can actually do that by just tapping one of the options that you want. Say you want to use sample edit often, or you want to use control often, or let's say you want to use the pad mixer and you like to go to that window a lot. You can just tap it, hold it, and drag it over to that left side of the window, and it will actually place it there. And then you can actually adjust the order of how you want these placed. You just click and hold and drag them up or down, and you'll be able to shift the order to your preference, which also includes the different boxes here for project, new project, and save. I use these quite a bit, so I went ahead and took those from over here and pulled them into this left panel. Here in the MPC 2000XL, you'll see the track plus and the track minus buttons. Here, these are controlled by the function keys here, whereas here in the MPC X, you'll see they're controlled down here with the buttons along the bottom of the screen. If you want to go to the next track, you just press plus. If you want to go back, you press minus. So now I'm going to show you all the different controls from the MPC 2000XL that align with the MPC X SE. So we're going to start over here in this box with the main volume control. That will be right here. This is your main volume on the MPC X right here. Next is your record gain. I have my record input going into 1 and 2, so that's why I have my gains here right at 12 o'clock centered. It'll be like this when you get it out of the box, But if you want to be able to hear your input that you're recording from to sample, then you want to make sure you have these where you're getting a decent level. I also made sure these tabs, this one here and this one, going to rear. And this is your phantom power. I have that off. Unless you're using a microphone of some sort, you'll be able to keep an eye on your levels with this readout here. Then you have your automation button here, your record arm here. You can mute and solo here. Next are your pad banks here in the MPC 2000XL, A, B, C, and D. On the X, pad banks are over here, A, B, C, and D. And you can also get an additional 4 banks. So if you hit shift, which is right here, hold shift, press A, now you're in bank E, bank F, bank G, and bank H. Next is full level. This is your full level button in the MPC 2000XL. Your full level button is right here on the MPC X. 16 levels right here. You see on the MPC 2000XL, the screen pops up asking you how you want to assign your 16 levels. Same thing here. You tap 16 levels on the MPC X, gives you the screen asking you how do you want to assign it, what type, and you can use the data wheel here and scroll, tune, filter, layer, slice, attack, decay, probability, ratchet, velocity, and the check mark shows that it is active. Close that. Next is the track mute button right here. Track mute is right here. As you can see, it gives you all of the different options to load your pads once you have sequences recorded into them, and you can utilize all the same track mute features by either tapping on the screen or tapping on the pad itself. Next is the next sequence button. That gives you your next sequence options here to lay out your sequences as you'd like. Next is the main screen button here. That's one of the most used buttons that I use on the MPC 2000XL to get me back to this home screen, which is the same for the MPC X, but your main button is actually right here. So same thing, you tap main and it brings you right back to your main screen or your home screen. Next is the data wheel on the MPC 2000XL. You see here, it's right in the center. If you look at the MPC X, your data wheel is here off to the right. A quick note, if you're sampling into the MPC X SE, you want to make sure that this knob is turned right in the center so that you can hear and audition what you're sampling in and also hear what the MPC is actually playing as well. Next, if you look at the 2000XL, this is your tap tempo note repeat button right here. That button is right here on the MPC X SE. Next, on the MPC 2000XL are your cursor buttons to get you around the screen and to the different options and different windows on the screen. Those cursor buttons are right here on the MPC X SE. Next is your undo sequence on the MPC X. Undo is right here. Your erase button on the MPC 2000XL. On the MPC X, it's right here. On the 2000XL, here are your transport controls along the bottom: record, overdub, stop, play, start, and your locate arrows. Those are right here on the MPC X SE. Next, on the 2000XL, here's the shift key. The shift key is here on the MPC X SE. Next, you have your numerical keypad, which is right here on the 2000XL. If you look at the MPC X SE, your keypad is right here. If you wanted to go to your program edit in the MPC 2000XL, you'd have to click Shift and the number 6 on the numerical keypad to get to your program window. Then you'll see where you can change all the different parameters along here in the MPC 2000XL. If you want to get to your program edit window and the MPC X SE, all you have to do is click on this button here, and that takes you to your program edit window. You can do global changes, samples, your envelopes, LFO, modulation, and effects all across the bottom here of the window. Next, if you wanted to edit your samples inside the MPC 2000XL, you'd have to hit Shift and the number 5 for trim. And this is where you would see your sample waveform populated right here in the screen. To do that in the MPC X, you would just tap on the key, sample edit, and you'll see your waveform right here. You can edit the start and end points by using your cursor, going to the start box here, and using your data wheel to maneuver to whichever place within the waveform you'd like. If you want to get the end point, same thing. Use your cursor, tap over to end, and you can also truncate your sample that way as well. So you can also use your Q links to change your start and end points of your sample editing. And I would equate this to using this note variation slider to do that on the 2000XL. You can also zoom in. This is also where you would chop your sample as well. Then you have the pad option, and then you can assign it and you can process it. You can also edit the tune, the root note, and the BPM. You can also choose the different slices that you've made within the sample. They'll all show up right here. And you can assign it, and you can also process it from here. If you wanted to enter your sample window on your MPC 2000XL, you'd have to hit Shift and the number 4. That would take you to your sampler. On the MPC X, you just press the sampler button, and you're right there in your sampler window. So while you're inside the sampler window, you'll see 4 different tabs along the bottom of the screen here. Those 4 tabs are showing 4 different sampling modes. Sample is going to be your original sampling straight away. Slice is going to be chopping your samples by slice. Pad tap, you're going to be chopping your samples by tapping the pads. And pad hold, you're going to be chopping your samples by holding the pad. If you wanted to load your sounds into the MPC 2000XL, you'd hit Shift and the number 3 to load. Here, all you have to do on the MPC X is tap Browse. Then you'll be able to browse through all of your samples using the data wheel. In this box, you'll be able to choose the way you want to view the content through the drums, instruments, samples, demos, My Files, or Splice. If you go to Places, you'll be able to see your internal drive and your external drives that you have plugged into your device. And here is where you'll be able to view all of your expansions in this window. And if you wanted to save your project on the MPC 2000XL, you'd have to hit this function key here to be able to save it. On the MPC X SE, all you'd have to do is tap on this disk icon here, and it'll open up these options for you to save. If you wanted to, say, bounce all your tracks down to audio and export them as stems, you'd select all tracks. And you can choose to include the track volume pan settings or bypass the track effects plugins, your bit depth, your sample rate, and your audio tail. And then you would just click on export, and it would export all of your files onto your SD card or your external hard drive. And as you can see, your tap key is right here, as well as your global feature, and your function key is right here, which corresponds to these buttons here.